confused, separated from spiritual leaders, what they had known as a church. And so James, knowing that his brethren were under fiery persecution, tells them, count it all joy. Consider it all joy. He tells them to count, meaning consider, think, assess, and evaluate your trial with joy. Count it all joy. Count it all. Count it all. All means all. Having no sorrow mixed in. Don't have any sorrow mixed in to what you're facing right now. Count it all joy. James tells them that they have to see, James knows that they have to see the trial correctly from the beginning in order for them to determine how they will go through it. When you consider something, when you count something, you get it straight from the beginning. Luke 14, and this is where that word count is used again. In Luke 14, Jesus said, what man sets out to build a tower and doesn't count what it will take to complete it? So that's the count that we're talking about. Consider, talk about, evaluate, assess the trial, and assess it properly. James knew how they counted the trials and the tribulations they faced was key, and it is today for each one of us. I must be able from the beginning to clearly see that there is a need for this trial. I've got to assess it and count it properly. We must discern past the surface. We must have the proper perspective about what we are facing, and we must get it straight from the start. So he says, count. Count it all joy, knowing. Next thought is knowing. To be sure. To know is to be sure, to be steadfast, and to be firm. Knowing that. We're not talking a knowing like the storing of information in your brain. I know we're at Fortress Community Church. I know it is Sunday. You know how sometimes you tell your kids things and you know that something is really not a good thing to do? But how many of you know that it's through experience that you really know? Once you experience something and you see something, then you know it here. And it's a different know than here. Because I can know here that God loves me, but once I walk through something with Him, and once I experience Him in a different way, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that He loves me. And James is telling him, you've got to not just know, you've got to know. Know it. Count it. And the difference is, when you know something, you believe in it, you trust in it, you rest on it, you put your weight on it. And so when you encounter trials, when you come up against trials, James is saying, count it all joy. Don't have any sorrow mixed into it. Just know that God is working something. God is using this trial. It's impossible for me to have joy in this life of faith. See, this is a walk of faith. It's impossible for me to have joy in this walk of faith if I don't develop that no. When all around me seems confusing and chaotic, I must know that He is working something for my good. I know that by experience it. And when you come to the place that He's all that you have, you'll find that He's all that you need. Have you ever come to that place? Have you ever been there? Once you've been there, you know it. And so James is saying, when you're faced with it, various means many. that God is working something. He's working something. See, this is another thing. Just think about this. See, the next thing he says is that the testing of your faith.
Talk about that.
And you know, in the Christian world, we have really just got a whole lot of rhetoric. You know that? Rhetoric. My friend calls it Christianese. It's a language. We have our own language. Bless the Lord. You know, God bless you. God, you know, and just all the, you ever think about all the stuff we do? You ever think about all the stuff we do? And you know, one of the newer things in the last few years is, it's not about us. You ever look at people and you want to say, you need to stop. It's not about us. It's about you, Jesus. It's about you, Jesus. It's not about us. Well, then why is it? See, he says here, the testing of our faith. Well, see, the testing that's happening is the testing of your faith. It's not the testing of you. You gotta think about that for a minute. Because really what happens is the first time you fall into a test or the trial, you wonder, what did I do? How did I have, what is God doing to me? Why is this happening to me? How can I be going through this? Lord, what, are you trying to say something to me? Lord, are you speaking to me? What are you doing? Lord, have I done something wrong? Have I not given? Have I not had faith? Have I not been that perfect little in the box with a bold Christian that I call it? No. The trial is the test of your faith. The trial is the test that God puts on your faith. The test is not on us, it's on our faith. We must realize that God is testing our faith, not us. We say it, but do we believe it? God is trying to give us more faith. That's why he's testing it. He's proving it. It says, the longer we are under trial and the longer we are being tested, the more work that is being done on our faith. God is working on our faith. He's building our faith. This is a walk of faith. How do I walk by faith if my faith is never tried and tested? How do I walk by something that has no value? It's never been tested. How do you walk by that? This is your walk. This is a walk of faith. So I can't walk in faith and never be tested. It has to be tested. It has to be proved. It has to be tried. We can't know the strength of our faith until it is tested. We can't. We can think our faith is so strong, but we really don't see how strong it is until we're tested. If it's all wonderful and beautiful and magnificent and it's never tested, how do we know how strong it really is? Some things have to be tested. Try like gold under fire. You understand? It's gold under fire. God is burning some things up. God's burning some things up. The fire of trial refines our faith and makes our faith more valuable. The trial of fire refines our faith and makes our faith more valuable.